Alright, hey everyone, this is Joshua, lead developer on Ultimate Disc Golf. If you're out there and you've already joined us, we really appreciate it. This is Joshua. Thank you to everyone on Ultimate Disc Golf. Tried out the alpha. If you're out there and you've already joined us, we really appreciate it. This is Joshua. Thank you to everyone on Ultimate Disc Golf. Tried out the alpha. If you're out there and you've already joined us, alright everyone, this is Joshua. Thank you to everyone on Ultimate Disc Golf. Tried out the alpha. If you're out there and all those guys joined us, alright everyone, this is Joshua. Play the alpha a little bit. Tried out the alpha. If you're out there and all those guys joined us, alright everyone, this is Joshua. Play the alpha a little bit. Tried out the alpha. And all these actions. Play the alpha. Tried out the alpha. And all these actions. Play the alpha. Tried out the alpha. And all these actions. Play the alpha. Tried out the alpha. And all these actions. Play the alpha. Tried out the alpha. Play the alpha. Okay, I think we're going to try a driver and forehand throw here. And so if you are new to the game, when you walk up to the tee, make sure you press E on the keyboard or up on the directional pad on a game controller to go ahead and start your throw. Our plan is to add another little GUI element that kind of indicates that, but once you have done it once or twice, it becomes pretty easy to remember. Okay, looks like we're going to need to restart already. Hey Dale, thanks for joining us. Okay, after restarting, it looks like the aiming is working as it should now. I'm just sharing the stream out on a couple more pages here before we move on to the next hole. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, there actually is some controls posted to the UDG webpage. Let me go ahead and link that. Park that pretty good here. Looks like we'll have a tap in. And just basically use the interact button, same button to start the T-throw to do the tap in mechanics. That's going to be up on the directional pad or E on the keyboard. Well, of course, they're not going to let me tap in, I guess. See how this goes. Feel like this isn't going in. Nope. Ah, so close. Let's see here. Okay. So open to kind of do this whole stream on just the controller, but it looks like the tap-in mechanic is working on the keyboard, but not so well on the controller at the moment. I just want to take this chance to go ahead and thank Baysinger's Disc Golf Channel. It's one of our first whole sponsors here. It's his flag. Definitely go check them out if you're into kind of watching disc golf. They're definitely kind of one of the newer ones, but they're definitely cool, and they've been supporting us from the very beginning, so please check them out if you get a chance. Okay, let's see. I think we're going to try to throw a big backhand here. Now, I've seen a lot of people that were testing the alpha, getting this one up pretty high, and that was, it was kind of sailing on them. So I'm going to keep this, as low as I can without, taking it right into the ground. Pretty good. Spin putt. Now in game we're looking, I think, a little over 10 feet. So if I, from this distance, if I throw it here, probably going to be a bit low. And I noticed a lot of people trying to kind of use a lower throw power with the spin putt. the spin put throw type actually already takes down your throw power, as opposed to, say, a backhand or a forehand. So from this distance, you probably want to use close to full power on the spin putt if you want to get it in. Oh, these chains are brutal. Next hole's over here. I'm going to walk around a little bit first. Kind of the one little bit of water we have in this level so far. The water's not reactive right now, but we are working on implementing kind of a reactive water to have a nice impact effect if your disc happens to go in there. Let's see what we want to do here. Okay, I typically have liked forehand on this hole so far. Get it way out there. Now, this is where the spin putt's been a little tricky. I think we might need to do some adjustments as we move forward. So we might want to be able to put a little more oomph on the spin putt. So right now, I'd have to aim this pretty high. And the goal was to need to kind of judge that lift when you're far out and you're trying to throw that putt. You kind of have to, account for that. Especially with a putter, it's going to kind of die on you on that kind of just outside the circle range. So I'm going to try to get it up here and see how close we can get. Not too bad. Nice, stayed in. One second here. I think we're going to go back to the backhand for this one. Hopefully we can make this one. That should stay in. Nice. Okay. I think we're just going to stick with the backhand for this one. I've seen a lot of people that were testing get it pretty high on this one too and kind of bomb it right past the chains. Let's try to keep it somewhat low. A lot of little clipping and the animations and stuff we're definitely fully aware of, and you know, with the character creation system, we're gonna be making adjustments and really kind of test the full spectrum of character sizes before we kind of make the final adjustments on the animations to ensure there's no clipping. Seems like most of the previews are working pretty good. Alright, not bad. Ooh, found some trash. We've had some keen-eyed players pick up that we do have some future side missions and achievements and things that we've kind of already implemented but aren't fully active. Kind of some of the trash are already sitting around the level as one of those. So we're going to essentially have, you know, course maintenance and maybe a park ranger that you interact with as an NPC. But essentially, you know, with it kind of having that open world field, we want to kind of include those little extras. And for me personally, you know, taking part and being active in maintaining a healthy course is definitely a big part of what makes the disc golf community great. Ooh, go in. Ah, sweet. welcome to our new viewers. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's go ahead and do the whole preview here. This one's always a tough decision between, putting it through here with the backhand or kind of a big forehand around the trees here. So sometimes I like doing this. So we'll give that a shot. Definitely thought that was I think we're going to be just outside the cap for this one. Oh. That one was on me. Usually when I try the backhand here, I end up hitting one of these trees. Let's go ahead and try that though. Anyway, see if we get lucky. Oh, I don't like the look of this one. Oh. That's okay. First one I've hit so far. Sorry about that. So besides the spin putt, from this distance, we definitely think that we're going to add some other type of throw, kind of like a cross-body putt, kind of a mid-range approach shot that will kind of give you the throw power that will kind of work better for this distance range. Ooh, nice. Oh, okay, that one's robbed. Alright, let's see what we can do with this one. Not too bad. Teleport here. There we go. Okay. See how we can approach it here with the forehand and the mid-range. Definitely feel like that should just a little closer. And that's how I end most of my real rounds. Shoot really well and then collapse at the very last hole. Okay, what I'm going to do next is go ahead and head over to the 18-hole course. And I know a few people have had issues with hole 10 on the next course we're going to go ahead and test out here. We're definitely aware of it. And it really comes down to the camera angle. So we wanted to clamp it so you couldn't kind of throw the disc, straight up in the air. But that clamping did make it difficult on that course in particular once you get to that hole to kind of throw it up where you need to. So we're going to be kind of loosening the camera angle and overhand throw type, and that should make it really easy to complete that course. Okay, we'll head to Sunny Birch. So just checking one thing real quick and then I'm going to get moving. All right, here we go. Okay, this is a pretty short hole, so we're going to make sure we account for that with our throw power here. And then try out a forehand. Say just over half power, I think we should do it. A little short. Okay, this is the hole sign that is currently bugged at the moment. So essentially what's happening is it's giving us the distance from this tee to that first basket, which is definitely not correct, and we will be fixing that in one of our first updates. I believe this hole, we're also having an issue with the hole preview. So just if you try those out, a couple things to be aware of. I was hoping that would curve a little more. So we've had a couple people make us aware of some teleporting bugs, and so we've definitely been noting those, and we'll be improving that mechanic as we move forward. One thing to know is, like, when the disc goes into some heavy brush like this, and it's right next to, say, a tree, right now sometimes that's where it can, you know, the mechanics right now have a hard time figuring out where to place you. So when it can't figure out where to place you, it basically teleports you to where you're already standing, hence locking you in place. So that kind of bugs things out. So we've kind of told people, you know, if you're playing it, try to make sure you're on the fairway. But obviously that's not how we're gonna leave it. We'll be make sure that mechanic is more smooth. Okay, let's see if we can line up a good shot here. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to first person here. Get myself turned. Oh, that's still going to be tough. Let's try to get it out there a little bit. That's a tough bogey. You see me kind of slowing down a little bit, just kind of unwinding and taking in the scenery too. We worked really hard to build this stuff out, so it's really one of the first chances we got to sit back and really just play it as a fan and enjoy it with everybody that's tried it out so far. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go backhand with the mid-range here. Just so you know, if you tap C on the keyboard, you can kind of toggle the over the shoulder, and if you tap Control, you can kind of get it in between. So you have a variety of angles in terms of kind of seeing your throw in that third person perspective. Not too bad there. I feel like this is right at the distance I can cheat and try to get the tap in by standing on the near side, but we'll go ahead and not do that. Try to put it in. Oh well. I feel like that was a good effort. Hopefully we'll have some little things like can sit on the bench. You know, really as we get more to like the online multiplayer, really that might become a little more relevant if you're waiting for somebody to throw. Okay, this one can definitely be tricky. There's a big drop off at the back of the hole here. Try to not put too much on it. Oh, weak armed it. This is going to be very, very tough with the spin putt. I think we're going to try to approach with the forehand here. Real soft like. Oh, that's way too hard. Oh no. Save me, tree. See what we can do. This is where that camera angle is kind of coming into play. You get stuck on a kind of terrain like this where you really need the sharp upshot. We will definitely be adding the ability to make that a little easier. Oh no. As you can see, the rocks are looking really good. We got a couple that still need to have the proper collision set up. Stay up there this time. How do I want to approach this? turn a little bit first before we throw. Oh, we're finally out of there. Oh, so close. Okay, so this is definitely one of the bugs that we've had more widely reported. So when we added the tapping mechanic, it was a little bit later to the fold, well after we set the original alpha release date. So right now, right at this distance right here, if you kind of hit the chains and it bounces out, sometimes it will bounce back at you, and essentially it's locking you in place, but you're still too far away to tap in. So from the feedback we've gotten so far, our first idea is basically just to increase the range for the tap in. Makes it less likely that this is going to kind of bounce back at the player, and we'll kind of go from there and see how that works. I'm going to try to get a little further out for now, or get a little closer, one or the other. You're not going to let me tap in here, huh? I'll stay in. Nice. Oh, we went off the rails on that hole. Okay, I feel it come back. Come back right here. Oh. Ooh. Okay, I think this is going to be one of those situations where spin putt, feel like it's going to die on a short, no matter how hard we throw it here. Just a little bit. Not too bad though. I definitely like the forehand for this one. So the basket's kind of just behind that large tree there, but further back. If you put everything on a throw with the forehand here, you get it up, you're definitely going to be hooking way down the hill to the right. So try to keep it a little bit low, but with some decent power still. That's looking pretty good. Sit. That was close. get through there. Guess we'll try to just lay it out here. Definitely should have put full power on that. That also felt like a real hole. Went from what looked like a birdie to a bogey. We're kind of looking at a downhill shot here, so again, gonna try to keep it low and not air it out too much, and let it float off to the left when I throw the backhand here. I think for 147 feet, I think we'll throw the putter, because that should stay pretty straight for us. A little weak. Oh no. Yeah, I totally slipped on the right mouse button there. I had no grip lock. Oh, nice. So we definitely know that the chains are a bit stiff at the moment. One thing I want to take a chance to go ahead and talk about here is kind of how we set up the chain physics. So rather than kind of predetermined kind of shaking animations for the chains, essentially everything's actually kinematic driven and driven by physics simulations. So while we don't have them really shaking around yet, we're still kind of playing around with the actual physics constraints and bones on each individual chain link, and essentially that will control the whole reaction of the basket chains. So they should shake and animate actually based on how they're hit, what from angle, and velocity and things like that. Alright, so this one's way out there, kind of to the left behind these trees. Can't really see it. Oh, way too hard. Got a little bit of hook there. Pretty tough. We'll try a forehand and see if we can kind of let it cut in there a little bit. So here we're probably going to go about a third power. There we go. That's what I get for trying to cheat. Ooh, a little downhill putt here. Oh. Forgot to switch to the spin putt. I think we're going to go ahead and try a forehand. Sometimes I kind of just like to put it through straight with the putter. We'll go ahead and try to see if we can kind of curve it around with some air. Not too much though. Of course. Is exactly what I get for trying to be fancy. Over the nice little bridge here. Might notice the creek bed here is a little dry. We'll be fixing that up shortly. Drought will be over soon. This is definitely tough to do with the current mechanics. And back down. There we go. Why, hello. Maybe we tried going up a little sideways. Not really what we should have to do, but we'll go ahead and try it. Stay up. Eventually there will be some kind of nice cool older wood type stairs to go up this. I think I see it over here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. That's half the battle. Okay, I think we toss it up with hope for the best. Alright, luckily we made it through. Okay, we're out, just not near the right hole yet. Okay, now we just gotta be really careful not to let it go back down the hill. Stay in. There we go. Well, I figured that one was going to take a while, so to be honest, that wasn't that bad. Apologies to anybody who had trouble finishing this hole so far, hole 10. Big forehand. Might get some air, but kind of hook in here. Little too high. There's our disc. Double check, make sure we're on spin putt here. Oh, definitely had that happen a lot. 263 feet. So we're still working on finishing up hole previews for the back 9 on this course here. So just to give you an idea, that's what on this one. It's going to kind of be back to the right behind this brush and trees in front of me here. Throw another big forehand. I feel like that could be pretty good. I'll get through there. Of course. That's a fun shot. be throwing right into that tree line head of the character here. Switch back to the backhand for this one. Ooh, not good. Try to overlap it down and out here next to the tree. So eventually we'll have kind of leaning animations. So if you can get stuck behind a tree, you can kind of lean out and flick it forehand or backhand just to kind of get you away from hazards and such. Oh, that did not go well. For some reason it does not like those two trees. There we go. To anybody who's just joining us, again, this is Joshua Johnson, the lead developer on Ultimate Disc Golf. So I've been disc golfing for a little over 20 years, and show my age here a little bit, but was also old enough to be playing video games when the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out. As a skateboarder for a little over 20 years as well, I really wanted to see a game that kind of could bring that excitement, that experience to a great sport like disc golf. So that's, kind of one of the rough ambitions we have for the game, and we have a long way to go before we get there. But from the feedback so far, it feels like we're on the right track. So we hope people will continue to join us, support the alpha, spread the word about that, and the more feedback we can get and continue to build a good community around the game, I think we'll be able to do that eventually. So let's see, we're gonna go ahead and tap this thing in. Rambled on there for a minute. Okay, this one's definitely a tough par 3 with the current setup. It's kind of a downhill approach here, so you gotta be real careful. If you get a little too much on it, you could be rolling pretty far back there behind the basket. I feel like that's not gonna be enough though. For sure. Stay up. Kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. So I'm going to take a little detour here just to check out some of the scenery. This is kind of in between. Got the flowers up. Eventually there's going to be another little street kind of runs through here. Alright, enough of that. Pretty much a solid backhander for this one. Pretty close. Not a bad line. Can we save par? Ah, so close. So we've mentioned this on a couple of other streams. This course that we're testing out tonight is actually modeled after a real disc golf course. It's one of the oldest courses in Missouri, White Birch Park. So it's one of the reasons that we give it the name Sunny Birch. And this hole might be the bane of my existence. So cut kind of diagonally right up the hill. Pretty much nothing but brush and trees all the way through. See a lot of people just pretty much tomahawk this hole and close their eyes and pray for the best. I think we're going to try a forehand to get it out there, see if we can, it'll probably hook right into the hill, but at least be savable for par. Oh, nice. Stay. Hopefully that'll be close enough. Oh, there goes my birdie. I don't know if anybody else can see what's going on with the mini map here. It's pretty funny. I believe it has to do with the elevation of our kind of texture render camera that we're using for the mini map. I think we can lock that camera at a particular distance from the character. Another one for our growing list. That's good. This might be one of my favorite holes. Don't forget to calculate the earth spinning at 1,000 miles per hour into your throws. That seems like sound advice to me. So with the current flight physics, this one's definitely tough to get a birdie on. As we move through alpha and we continue to get feedback on, essentially right now what is flat, stable physics. So essentially we have the driver, putter, mid-range, and a few throw types, but you're essentially always throwing it flat. Now you can angle up, down, kind of left, right, but that release of your wrist, when you think about that essentially right now is going to be flat every time. So once we have that stabilized and we feel that's polished, then we're going to start adding that angle of release, so we can kind of get those big S-curve bombs and hyzer bombs and things like that. So essentially on a hole like this, you know, it'll be a little easier to kind of get up there and at least have a chance for birdie. Oh, that was the wrong throw. Not worry about scoring, just try to get back out of here. There we go. Okay, I think we're going to need to approach this with a forehand a little bit. Spin putt is definitely not going to get us there. Make sure we're on putt this time. Oh, I actually got one to stay in. It's okay. I'll take a double bogey. All right, last hole here. Okay, basket is basically kind of around the tree line here to the right. Not bad. Probably should put that up a little more to the left. Definitely wish that would get a little closer. Oh, so unforgiving. All right, overall, that was pretty fun. Appreciate everybody that joined us tonight. So we've been taking in a big list of different specs that people have been sending us, and bugs. We've made a great list of pretty much the highest priority bugs that we want to have fixed for the first update. And during the alpha, we'll be trying to be on a 1 to 2 week release cycle tops. So we'll be keeping everybody posted across our social media. Please continue to share the game. We appreciate all the love and support. Have fun breaking the alpha and letting us know about those bugs. We've got our thick skin on right now, and we're ready to kind of attack anything out there that really stands out. And there's going to be a lot of work to really make it a fully polished game. But we're just going to take it one step at a time and continue to have fun building it with the community that is already starting to get involved. So thank you again. We're going to call it a night for tonight. I believe we're going to have a couple of supporters of the game streaming over the next couple days, so we'll make sure to share out some of those links as well. Night, everyone.